Welcome to the Deep Dive. Okay, today we're jumping right in. Meta, Instagram, WhatsApp, and this huge U.S. antitrust lawsuit.
Big stuff.
Yeah. So your mission, basically, is to understand how Meta used acquisitions to become this, social media giant and what this whole legal fight means.
And we're drawing on analysis of Meta's strategy and the court case itself.
Right. So the big question we're tackling is, did Meta get this big through innovation? Or was it more about, buying up potential rivals? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so, it's interesting because Facebook started with pretty organic growth, right? Connecting people.
Yeah, the original idea.
But then smartphones arrived and new platforms started popping up. And this was a real threat. Instagram was maybe the first big warning sign.
It was mobile first.
Exactly. Mobile first, visual, growing super fast. It tapped into something different.
And Facebook, Zuckerberg didn't just try to compete directly. In 2012, they just bought them for $1 billion.
$1 billion, which sounded like crazy money back then.
Especially for, 13 employees?
Yeah, tiny team, but already over 100 million users. The analysis suggests Zuckerberg saw it as buying the threat, basically securing the future of photo sharing for Meta.
It felt aggressive at the time, definitely a strategic pivot, like we can't beat them, or maybe it's easier to just buy them.
It certainly showed they were thinking about dominance, not just their own platform's features. It was about controlling that social space.
Okay, so then fast forward just a couple of years, 2014, WhatsApp.
Whoa, yeah.
And this time, it's $19 billion. 19.
And WhatsApp was, kind of different. Big on privacy, really simple, even had that subscription model for a while.
Totally unlike Facebook's model.
Yeah.
And it was massive in places Facebook wasn't as strong.
Right. Huge internationally. The analysis frames this one as more of a land grab.
A land grab.
Yeah, the fear inside Meta apparently was that WhatsApp could just keep growing and become the dominant global messaging app, like a foundational layer of the internet they didn't own.
So less about features, more about preventing a future competitor from even emerging.
That seems to be the argument. And, after those two deals, Meta owned the three biggest social networks, judged by users: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp.
Which gave them immense power, right? Cross-promotion, integrating data, dominating digital ads.
Absolutely. The synergy was huge for Meta's business, but this is where the criticism really ramps up.
Yeah, the flip side.
The argument is that buying Instagram and WhatsApp basically killed off potential competition. It's stifled smaller platforms, maybe limited choices for you, the user, and could have even slowed down innovation overall.
And didn't the WhatsApp founders leave? There was some controversy there.
So that's right. They left, reportedly clashing with Meta over plans to monetize WhatsApp and concerns about user privacy promises being broken, sort of highlighting that tension between the original vision and Meta's business goals.
Which leads us right up to today and this big FTC antitrust lawsuit. It kicked off April 2025.
Expected to run a couple of months. And the FTC's core argument is pretty blunt. Meta illegally maintained its monopoly by buying rivals instead of competing fairly.
Eliminating threats, essentially.
That's the FTC's claim. Meta's defense is, hey, these deals were good for users, we improved the apps, and they point to competition from, TikTok, YouTube, even X.
They tried to get the case thrown out, didn't they? But failed.
Right. The judge let it proceed, suggesting the court sees enough merit in the FTC's case to hear it fully. So you have Zuckerberg seeing these as smart, maybe necessary business moves back then.
Versus the government saying, look, users are paying the price now through less competition, maybe less innovation, and weaker privacy.
Exactly. It's a fundamental clash over how dominance was achieved and whether it crossed a legal line.
Okay, so boiling it down, Meta's path to dominance wasn't just Facebook itself, but heavily involved buying these potentially huge competitors, Instagram and WhatsApp.
Definitely. That acquisition strategy is central. And now that very strategy is being challenged in court, potentially changing the rules for big tech deals going forward.
So let's leave you with this thought. Given everything we've talked about Meta's history of buying rivals, this ongoing lawsuit, what does the future really look like for competition in social media? And maybe more importantly,
What should the role of regulators be in shaping that future? Something to think about.